Attention, the following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up guys, it's Mugham Ross here giving you this week's Smackdown review, and we are in Salt Lake City. So let's get into the hecticness that was this Smackdown. We open with The Rock walking into the buildings. As said last week, The Rock and Roman will be there to discuss business next week, as Paul Heyman alluded to, so that's why it's happened. For actual wrestling wise, we kick off the show with Kevin Owens vs Dominic Mysterio in an Elimination Chamber match spot to see who goes through to Elimination Chamber in Perth. We have Dom try and be on the mic, trying to put over Judgment Day as always, being like Judgment Day is going to win the whole of Elimination Chamber. You're going to see, me win, get to Seth Rollins at Mania. You're going to see Mommy retain. You're going to see Finn and Damien retain, but the crowd weren't having it. Automatically booed him to the point where Dom just got annoyed, threw the mic down, and they start wrestling. Kevin Owens and Dom were a very back and forth match. It wasn't really coming across like anyone was going to be squashed, which was a good thing to see. Really good momentum on both sides as well. We had some really cool spots of having Dominic do his Three Amigos that he does very well, to then Kevin Owens responding with his own style of a Three Amigos. We had interesting frog splashes and swantons being kicked out of a cannonball. We had an R-Truth interaction where he was trying to talk to Kevin Owens, thinking Kevin Owens was The Miz, even though The Miz was later on in the show, and we'll get into my thoughts on that. I get the joke behind it, but it was also kind of dumb. Like, you would have him come out twice, would you not? That's just me, though. That's what I think in that scenario. Yeah. And we get Dom with an X Factor, which I thought was really cool to see as well. KO missed a stunner. Dom hits a 619, but KO luckily kicked out of it. And KO gets a pop-up powerbomb smash from Dom trying to talk to R-Truth to get a chair, saying if you grab this chair, you're in Judgment Day. And R-Truth grabs the chair and sits down and watches. So yeah, Kevin Owens got a distraction enough to pick up powerbomb and get the free count. Kevin Owens is going to Elimination Chamber in Perth, which I think is super awesome. I think the men's chamber is looking stacked, and is the women's when we get into the women's matches. Drew then has an interview saying he needs to win for the people, the savior of WrestleMania. His chance was taken away 4 years ago, and he wants to finally get it back. LA Knight interrupts him, being like, well, it's going to get stolen again by me, the megastar, with everyone chanting LA Knight. They go back and forth in a very heated discussion with each other. Drew saying, I could see through you, all this bravado and everything like that. And LA Knight's like, oh, we're talking all these hypotheticals and that. No, we're talking, you're laughing at me and you think it's a joke. No, I'm being serious. And LA Knight's like, well, I'm also serious. And they get heated to then get pulled away. Honestly, some of the best mic work Drew McIntyre is doing as this heel run, and LA Knight never fails to be good on the mic. I also find it very cool that Drew was like, you're good. Like, Drew actually opened with complimenting LA Knight to then absolutely dissecting him. Not just like going insult straight away. He dissected Drew dissected the whole demeanor of LA Knight, and I thought that was a great way of doing that segment. We then get Roman and Jimmy hugging, which was a bit weird when Roman entered, and they were celebrating, eating loads of food, getting drinks sent to their room throughout the whole show. And they were like, oh, let's fix what Jay broke. So we'll see where that occurs. A very weird one. We then get Selena Vega versus Tiffany Stratton. Qualifying matches coming up. They head towards the ring, but then we get a couple of backstage segment things. So we get Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate having an interview, talking about, yeah, momentum's been really good for us. We're just going to walk into Perth, slap Judgment Day about, leave Perth as new tag champions. You get then Tyler Bate basically talking about how we need a new tag team name. And I'm pretty sure he called it New Catch Republic. And you like that one because we are going to revolutionize and change the tag team division. Dom walks in and is like, you guys shut up, none of you could beat any two from Judgment Day. And Tyler Bates like, okay, let's test that theory. Let's actually test it. How about you and R-Truth versus us two? Dom then gets very angry. He goes, R-Truth's not in the Judgment Day. You should know this. So then Tyler Bate kind of laughs at him. And Pete Dunne, being the absolute Pete Dunne he is, he just states, do one. Just do one, you muppet. Which was perfect British way of just telling someone, why are you even here? And I loved seeing that it's Pete Dunne to true form. And then Tyler Bates like, well, I guess if it's not R-Truth, it's going to have to be JD. And then that match is made official for next week. I think it's still cool. I'm glad they're really hyping up what British Strong Style can do and getting themselves intertwined with Judgment Day. Especially because the history of Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Finn Balor, that's a lot of UK talent and a lot of UK representation for great British wrestling. Get my words out today, Jesus. But either way, I think, yeah, it's great to see how it's going on. We get Tiffany versus Zelina Vega actually start happening. Very quick pace, the match goes into it. Tiffany kind of shows off her strength and speed, well, more height than anything over Zelina throughout most of this match, and it kind of plays into it. But Zelina didn't back down. She showed a very unique offense of this blend of like high flying, avoiding style. She did a really cool like moonsault flip off the turnbuckles. You then got doing a 619 to the knee of Tiffany, which I thought was really cool to stop Tiffany doing that her most beautiful moonsault. And yeah, we see all this back and forth going on. Then Los Fantasma are in the crowd watching this match. So LWO walk out to kind of have Zelina's back. But this kind of just becomes more of a distraction. Tiffany goes and fights her on the outside, throws her toward Los Fantasma. You get Elektra Lopez chanting stuff in Zelina's ear over the barrier. So Zelina just throws her over the barrier, kind of smacks her in the face, and then throws her back to Los Fantasma. But that was it. They didn't go into like a massive fight or anything, but the distraction happened to give Tiffany a chance to hit a running knee on Zelina when she got back in the ring and hit the beautiful moonsault. Tiffany is now going to Elimination Chamber. I'm a bit sad. I wanted Zelina to have that moment in the Elimination Chamber. I think it would be really good for her, especially with this momentum building. But I get that they're trying to do this. Elektra is screwing over LWO, especially Zelina's side, because Zelina was always the one to kind of be the decider maker for LWO. So having this feud carry on and her losing opportunity after opportunity makes a lot of sense, because it'll just turn into a singles match between Zelina and Elektra Lopez, which I'm fine with. I think that could be cool. We have the OC arguing backstage again. I don't know really what they're going with this angle. I get AJ's trying to change himself and be this like lone wolf. I'm sick of everything. I'm sick of everyone underestimating me. But like Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows have been your boys since day one. Like, the fact you slapped Carl Anderson and it didn't go for you, and he even said, if it was anyone else, I wouldn't have done it. Like, you don't need this for the OC. They're the crew. They're your Bullet Club. I mean, I don't know what else you can really do unless they're trying to separate AJ Styles and the OC like they just have, because they're bringing in another Japanese talent coming through, because NXT have been showing these kind of weird Japanese phrases promotion in like a black and white font. And there was one character that came to mind that is becoming a free agent very, very soon. Tama Tonga. Because Tama Tonga's name for the longest time was the good bad guy. And with the Japanese phrasing of someone wears three masks, one around your family, one around your work, and one no one sees, maybe this is the one that no one sees. Maybe this is going to be his true version of himself as the good bad guy, and he aligns himself back up with the Good Brothers, forming his version of the Bullet Club in NXT. Which I think would be good, because they're not doing anything with the Good Brothers other than this AJ Styles thing. But that's my 2 cents into what I would do booking-wise with the Good Brothers and this OC storyline. But we will see where it goes. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Final Testament are getting ready for AOP's debuting match against a couple of NXT stars. And they just all look dominant. They all look they're ready absolutely to go in and knock each other out. And it looked cool. Just seeing AOP like pumped to fight, seeing Carrion like egging them on, seeing Scarlett just like admiring what Carrion's doing. It was cool. It was just, it had that energy for a small backstage segment. You could tell this was like a well-oiled machine going forward. We get Io Sky cutting a full Japanese promo with subtitles underneath, and I like that. I wish we got more of those type of things. Talking about how they are the Damage Control. It might have been Bayley's vision, but Io finalised it and made it what it was today. And then Asuka also chimes in and speaks about how Dakota Kai, you betrayed us. You don't think there's consequences. You better sleep with one eye open. And I liked how Io also turned around and was like, I'm going to embarrass you in the grandest stage of them all, meaning WrestleMania. It gives that great heel work of Io really does now believe in herself with the side of Kairi and Asuka that she can overtake Bayley. The wrestler she brought in SummerSlam a few years ago. I say years, I think it's only been months of last year's SummerSlam. She's like, yeah, I'm not the same of who you brought in now. We are Damage Control. And I'm here for it. Kairi Sane as well, speaking about that one eye open line. I think all three of them had that nice synergy behind them. And them all saying we are Damage Control at the end and saying it in sync, I thought was sick. We get AOP making quick work of that NXT talent that I mentioned. You see them do this Super Collider and then go straight into the AOP finisher. Very much squash, making them look dominant and something to be worried about. Next week has been made official that Street Profits are going to go against AOP. So look forward to that match because this feud has constantly been going that way. We had Logan Paul fighting for the first time on Smackdown, and it was an interesting match to say the least. He went against his former teacher, the guy that kind of helped him get into this business, in The Miz. And the match gave us everything I could expect. Miz showing off that he is still versatile and can change moves on a fly. Logan actually showing he's got damn good in-ring work, that he could be doing this probably weekly if they booked him to do it that way, but with how his schedule is, I don't think they would. There was a lot of cool moves. We had Logan doing his own variation of like European uppercuts without the running, just holding Miz's head and then hitting it. We had a really cool modified flatliner by the Miz. I thought that looked awesome. And we had Logan try and do the brass knuckles again, which failed because the Miz caught it. Miz teased he might do it, so then threw it away. We then get Logan hit with the titanium hand, so Miz was dazed. To then he did a skull-crushing finale. Miz kicked out. To then Miz hit one. Logan kicked out. To then we get like a reversed skull-crushing finale. Like it was like an inverted one because Miz's back and back of the head hit the mat, not the front like how the normal skull-crushing was. And Logan got that win. Logan is going to the chamber to potentially have Logan 2 belts. We will have to see where that storyline goes and if he survives that chamber. But he did qualify. It's very interesting. So we now land on the last match of the night before the big segment, like mic work segment. We land on the main event being Naomi, Here We Glow, versus Alba Fire. I loved this match. I thought it was absolutely incredible to see Naomi come back in, whole new song, whole new vibe, and just that same energy she had in the TNA days of when she did the last 2 years with them. And she hadn't missed a beat. Honestly, that match was incredible to watch start to finish. She did some newer style moves that really added to her moveset. And I feel like Alba Fire did a great job, don't get me wrong. She had a really cool spot where she did like a multiple bounce across the rope and turnbuckle. So you saw her like hit 3 different spots. She hit one side of the rope, then the turnbuckle, then the other side of the rope, back in the turnbuckle, then through Naomi. I thought that was cool. But then Naomi brought out this incredible move. I don't even know what we call it, but it started looking like she ran in, grabs like what looks like it's going to turn into a Hurricane Rana, but then she locks her thighs on the head and like pile drives the head into the mat, and it just looked absolutely incredible, and it dazed like Alba Fire straight away. And then Naomi hit into a submission move and got the win. So Naomi is going to Elimination Chamber in her first match back on Smackdown. I am so proud of what WWE are doing with Naomi. They haven't flopped on her. They haven't made her feel insignificant. As soon as she's came back from TNA, they have built her very damn well, and I'm so happy to see it. She's awesome in my eyes, and I'm glad she's back in the WWE. We have then Dakota Kai and Bayley walking around backstage. Dakota in a bit of a panic asking for help from Bayley, saying, "Did you not hear what the girls said about me? They're going to get me. You're the only person I could trust right now in this situation. Please help." To then Bayley's like, "You got to come from my perspective. This has been happening for months. They've been talking about me for ages. I don't know who I can trust right now. I can't do this right now. I appreciate all you did for me, but I don't know what I'm going to do." For me, there is only one other person I feel like Dakota could trust, but she really has to rebuild the bridges. I'd bring back Team Kick. I would get Tegan Knox back on Dakota's side, and they fix whatever Dakota did. Because I think that'd be a sick feud. Team Kick versus Kabuki Warriors. Yes, please. Any day of the week. Give me that. Because Bayley's too focused on EO anyway, in my eyes, so I think that'd be a great thing we can do. We then get Nick Aldis announcing arguably one of the most interesting new signees to SmackDown in Bron Breakker. He is the current NXT Tag Champion with Mr. Baron Corbin. So, is he double dutying? We will have to find out, but I think this is really cool. I know a lot of people kind of wanted him more on Raw, but for me, it leads to, if Cody doesn't finish the story, if there's still Roman holding the title, Bron Breakker going in a feud with Roman, spear versus spear, I think would absolutely blow the roof off anyone. I think that would be super cool. And I'd also love to see LA Knight versus Bron Breakker. I think that would be a great match as well. The potential he can do on SmackDown, I see a lot more. They would focus on him more as a bigger name than Raw, because Raw has a lot of stacked names on that brand at the current moment. We then get Roman coming out with his long, very long walkout. So then when he finally gets the ring, he calls all the Salt Lake dumb. Just says, like, you know, not just one person in particular. I mean, like, when it's a bunch of you guys, you just turn into dumb, you catchphrase everything, all of this. And it just became very agitating promo of him just, like, basically crapping on the fans about their catchphrases of, like, "We want Cody," and all of this, and, like, what they say about The Rock. The Rock just played into the catchphrases when he came through anyway. So congrats on the biggest gathering of a SmackDown ever, all of this, but congrats on the major thing that The Rock noticed, that you've gathered the biggest load of trailer park trash that he's ever seen. And I'm like, cool, standard Rock heel stuff, but it's old. It doesn't feel fresh with him saying that line. I get that. He's used it for years, but it was just, it felt flat to me. It felt stale. And then he carries on going about, like, you know, we had the greatest match of WrestleMania in the palm of your hands, and you guys all decided to flush it down the toilet with the, "We want Cody, we want Cody," like, and did the stupid voice with it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you flushed it down the toilet like all your fat asses did, where, like, when you sat there tweeting about it," and it's like, okay, cool. Still really bad promo work. And obviously he's just aligned himself with the Bloodline, stating he's going to make sure Cody walks out what he's always been as a loser, and the Bloodline will stay on top. And he does the "can you smell?" but instead of doing The Rock is cooking, he says the Bloodline and acknowledges. And that's how we go off air. I mean, it was an okay promo from Rock. It fell flat for me. I really feel like this weird in-between, they've really pushed for Cody's agenda. So The Rock's trying to still feel significant and being around in Mania to help Roman. And I feel like The Rock's kind of filling in where Jay was, like the right-hand man. But for me, The Rock is more higher than Roman in significant of, like, the Anawahi family. I mean, Roman makes sense, though, longest reigning, all of this. So maybe that's why Rock has decided to acknowledge him now. But yeah, it just feels weird. Well, obviously, I'm just going to have to trust the process on this one. But it wasn't a great promo in my eyes. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell so you don't miss any reviews we do, and our live podcast every Thursday. look forward to the next reviews that we have, which will be Raw of next week. And I will see you all on my next review. Peace.